Welcome to Booked, the bookstore education podcast brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. This episode is part of our Indies Introduced series, where we spotlight debut authors handpicked by booksellers from around the country. In each episode, a bookseller from the Indies Introduced panel will interview the author of a debut title featured in our program.
Okay. Hi, I'm Heather. I am the events lead at Wild Rumpus Books in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is very much on the other side of the planet from our author. I'm so excited to actually get to connect. So we know who we're talking to. We are talking to Sam Prentice-Jones, who is an author-illustrator working in Brighton, UK, who graduated from the Arts University at Bournemouth in 2019 with a BA, Honors in Illustration, specializing in digital, graphic, character-based work. Sam likes to create work that celebrates diversity and queer culture and began his career by curating a queer illustration magazine titled Poof Magazine. Love that.
Yes.
Which ran from 2019 to 2021. Sam has created work from the worlds of book publishing, web design, advertising, and product design, as well as being featured in art fairs across the UK. He's the author of the Arcana, the Lost Heirs, the first graphic novel duology, which goes on sale in the US on June 24th, which when everyone's hearing that, that's today.
Oh my God. That's so exciting.
Sam, I am so excited for this conversation, and we are going to do our best to keep it short, but I know it could be really long because I'm so excited.
They can't stop us gabbing. They can't stop us chatting.
They can't. I'm so excited about this book. I have my copy with me. You'll see it has a little piece of gold tape on it because I rated it my favorite immediately. I was like, this goes on like some of my highest ratings, and
that is high praise.
I loved it. So I'm going to, instead of just talking about how much I loved it, let's get to know you so we can get everyone on their journey towards loving this book even more. First, just tell me who you are. Who is Sam?
Oh, Sam is a diva. Sam is, I described myself recently so I got married recently, and for the vows of my wedding, I described both me and my husband as like equally bizarre and boring. It's like I present like I'm quite a fun, interesting person, but I'm such a grandma. Like I like want to be in bed by 10:30. I don't really drink. I'm so like not a party girl, but I'm quite like a bubbly, fun person. So I I keep it cute. And but yeah, I've always loved drawing. I've been drawing little comic books and like little sequential narratives, and I've been illustrating since I was like a little kid. I always loved it. But it was one of those things that I didn't really realize could be a career until I got to sort of like my late teens, like when I started thinking about university. Like I thought about going into fashion because I'd always really loved that, but like it always came back to drawing and creating characters and telling stories. That was always where my passion lay, and so that's just sort of how we ended up where we are.
One of my other questions for you was talking about sequential art. Like, did you always want to do sequential art? It sounds like it was always kind of in the mix of things.
Honestly, I was neck deep in the like anime and manga era when I was like in my teens. So I was consuming a lot of that culture and like comic books, and like as kind of cringe as it sounds, like so much of that informed and showed me like that comic books were so much more than like a Garfield comic, and like it could be elevated to this like adult and really artistic level. And then so it started there, and I was always making up characters that were basically like mishmashes of whatever manga or anime I was reading at the time, and I would make these stories and I would draw comic books, and it's so funny. It's so funny we're talking about this because I recently on my Instagram I like did a deep dive and I found this really old piece of artwork from a comic book that I was working on like all through my teens. So it's a drawing that I did when I was maybe 13, and it is so tragic, but it's got such like, oh my god, that's who I was. And so I did like a redrawing of it, of all of these characters that I designed when I was like a teenager. And it felt so full circle, like, oh my god, I wrote a graphic novel. I've done what little baby Sam wanted to do all those years ago. And it feels so cool to have like come back to where I started. Like I moved away from sequential narrative for a little bit when I was at uni, because there was a degree of looking down on comic books on my art degree. Like a little bit, because people were like, oh, it's a lesser art form and like it's not as serious as literature, and so I sort of tried to move away from it, because I was sort of being taught that it wasn't as high art as like other stuff could be. But then I found people who were creating sequential images and sequential narratives that were doing it in a really artful way, like people like Tilly Walden and John McNaught, and I was like so drawn to it, of like that you can take this thing that originally was quite like a lowbrow art form and really like bring it up to like a high art place. And so that's sort of where I began to fall back in love with it. And then I was just waiting for the right story to fall in my lap to finally do one myself.
Yes. Well, and to even kind of like build off of what you're saying too, like sequential art has been being seen as lowbrow.
Yeah.
I feel like there's anyone who enjoys sequential art or does it. I feel like we all have a soapbox about this, because sequential art and pictures defines language. It can't be controlled. And so there is a sense of it's seen potentially as lowbrow because it's powerful. And we had it like cave paintings. We can still understand what's going on.
Exactly.
And we cherish those, but we're also afraid of them. So what you're doing... Oh, go ahead, yes.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just going to say, there's definitely like... It's almost this feeling of like... It's sort of the same thing of like when something gets popular, it becomes lowbrow. It's like, just because it's understood by the majority of people doesn't mean it's like not high art. And that's the thing about images. Like they're the most universally understood thing, and they get a bad rap for that. And I'm here to
do.
Yeah.
But not your book, because not my book. It's beautiful. And you were starting to say too, getting the inspiration for this story, what sparked it for you? What kind of, was it kind of a little bit of a aha? Was it like sit up at 3 a.m. like, oh my gosh, wait a second? Or did it just kind of start to form, or some secret third thing I'm not thinking of? Go ahead.
It's interesting. So I think it must have been 2021 or 2022, I was between jobs and I didn't have any like commercial work going on. And so I was like, okay, I'm going mad, so I need to give myself like a personal project or something to work on. And so I had always wanted to design a tarot deck. And I had a friend at university who was really into tarot. I was into tarot in the same way that I was into like horoscopes. Like I liked the symbolism, but like I'd never really like dove properly into it. So I liked it and I was interested in it, but I was never like fully immersed in it. And one of the things that she told me was that it's actually a pet peeve of hers when people redesign a tarot deck and just completely wipe out all of the imagery and like just do their own thing, because the imagery within the original artwork is so much a part of the reading of tarot cards. And like it's important that like this symbol is there and that this character looks a certain way, because that's part of the reading of it. Is like you're looking at this image and you're like, what are you pulling out of it? Which I always really liked, because that made reading tarot cards so much more accessible for someone who didn't have like a tarot card, like what does this card mean book handy at all times. And so the way that she used to read tarot was she would show you the card and be like, what do you see in this image? Like what are the symbols that you're seeing and what do you pull from that? And so I knew that I wanted to design a tarot deck that was really rooted in the original like the classic imagery. And so I started doing that. I was working on it, and then because I was doing that, I was doing a lot of research into like the themes of each card, and so what imagery was important and what had to stay. And I just kept going. I finished the major arcana. I still had no work, so I was like, I guess I'll just rest. And that's when things really went wild, because the major arcana is only like 21 cards, but the rest of it is you're just redesigning a whole deck of cards. Like a full tarot deck is 78 cards.
That's so many. It's so much art.
And like when I got sort of like halfway through the second suit. So I'd done wands, and I was like halfway through doing cups, and I was like, what have I done? Like, I'm in too deep now. I can't stop. But so I finished that. It was this like really huge project that I was really, really proud of. And like I was selling my tarot decks. Like I figured out a way to like sell them that made that felt like I wasn't like robbing myself of all of the time. I was like, I have to do something with these. But because I'd been so steeped in like the imagery and the themes of each of the cards, I was like, wouldn't it be so cool to write a story that each chapter header was a tarot card, and that chapter's content was informed by the themes of that card? And I was like, okay, that's a really interesting starting point and like a prompt. And I decided, okay, well, I need to come up with a cast of characters to fill this story. And I was like, well, it's tarot cards. They obviously have to be witches. So of course they do. Let's be honest. And so then I was pulling from like people in my life, people who I love, people who I spent time with at school and at university, and created this cast of characters that I felt really connected to, and I felt like there was a little piece of me in each of them. And then obviously I felt I was also reading Heartstopper at the time, so I was like, well, I have to also put I need to put a cute little love story in this. And so it became this like meet cute, turns romantasy, turns fantasy, thriller. I was just pulling from every genre because I wanted it to feel like this cozy little mystery that I could really see people that I love in, and to sort of fill a gap in the world that I feel has existed recently because of the actions of a certain someone.
Well, and even as you're speaking, as we've talked about sequential art, as you're talking about some of these pieces of work that are really influential and kind of like moving you into it, and then also talking about the tarot, because in a way, especially in the major arcana, there is such an actual arc. It is like sequential arc with all these nuances. And so that it feels so natural to want something like this. Like I know when I first stumbled upon your book, it was just as a like downloadable like NetGalley thing. And I was like, well, this is exciting. And I just immediately read it. And then we started this panel, and it was on there, and I was like, I've read this already, and I read it again. And seeing it again and looking at, like when readers actually get a chance to like interact with this art and look at it and look at your style, that's both it's stylized, it's approachable and beautiful, but like, even if you don't know anything about the tarot, have no knowledge of it, it has a sense of rootedness in this foundation of story and imagery that you've been able to hearken to, like you're saying. Like, more what I'm saying is the work that you did has paid off. Like, this is really beautiful. And not only am I excited for this book to come out, there's a sequel that's going to come.
There might be.
There had better be. This story ends. By the time we get to the end of this graphic novel, I will give no spoilers, but I was so ready to turn the page and there to be more, and I was like, it's a duology. Dang it.
Yeah,
like at the same time, this first volume is so delicious and so it is fulfilling. It sets things up really well. It sets up your storyline really well, with each chapter being these major, characters who are the major arcana, or the first chunk of them. I'm really excited to meet everyone else that we get to meet eventually.
I know. Yeah, it's Yeah, I'm really proud of this like cast of characters, and I kind of feel like I can't put them down. Like I started trying to work on something else, and I was like, no, Eli and James and Coco, they're too in my body. I need to keep working with them. And it just like I felt so proud of the fact that I managed to create a cast of characters that I felt really like connected to each of them, and like everyone who I've shown the book, like I obviously have like my characters who like I relate to more, but and so I sort of assumed that everyone would have that, but showing it to my friends and family, like everyone had different favorites, and I was like, oh,
That's cool.
amazing! That's all I could ask for, is like to have a little something for everyone, and that they can feel seen by like my wonderful agent Katie. She is such a huge fan of my character Coco, and I love like having this character that's this like plus size, like really brash, like Japanese heritage woman who is so like unapologetic and fashionable and just like a loud character, and I just love that, and I love that people see themselves in the characters, and I hope that more people will get to see themselves in these characters.
Yes. That was my last question for you was like, what do you hope that your readers take away from this as they enter into this version of the world that you have built?
Yeah. I always have loved it's like my favorite genre of anything is like it's the normal world with like one slightly different thing of like it's the normal world, but like the magic is there, but it still feels kind of normal. It's like it's become a part of like everyday life in that way. And I really hope that people see themselves in it, and that it helps them feel hopeful at this time, and that finding community is so important, and finding people that really see you for who you are, and that you can be your true self with, is like a major theme of this book and of the next one. And also like holding each other accountable for your actions, and for I just really hope that people find solace in this book, and it gives them the tools and the I guess that just like the hope that finding community is the answer, and that we standing together is always the best way to face against troubled times.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. That's wonderful. So as we move, while this is being recorded, as we move closer to the release date here in the US,
yes.
And as it is released on June 24th, like where can our readers find you? Either online.
Oh my god.
It's just crazy. The internet is very crazy right
so
now,
crazy.
but like being able to support you, see other work you're doing, engage with you, it is so exciting to see creators at the beginning of their book journey. So where can people find you?
I'm only really on Instagram at the moment. I'm on Instagram. I'm at Sam Prentice-Jones. That's Prentice is spelled Prentice. That's the only name that anyone has a hard time spelling. Sam and Jones are pretty.
Yeah, sure.
Sam Prentice-Jones, and my website, samprenticejones.co.uk, where you can have a look, and I'll be updating it with where I'm going to be and where you can get the book. And also I have a little shop where I sell prints and things. I'm selling like limited edition Rhizo prints of some of my favorite panels from the books, and I sell tarot decks. I sell the tarot deck from the book. So I hope that people come and be very nice to me. I would love that.
They better be nice to you. Otherwise, we're gonna fold the ocean in half and come get them.
We're gonna have a fist fight.
Can we get some of your merch here in the UK, in the US, not the UK? Of course, you get in the UK. Okay, great.
I'll send it over.
I literally was eyeing your tarot deck. I was like, I kind of need a fresh one. Then this would be very cool.
Yes, please do.
Well, this has been so fun. I feel like we could talk forever about this.
I wish we could.
I know. This is really fun. And we've only just met, and we've met over FaceTime audio. We won't talk about that. The first call I made to Sam was very awkward because my phone didn't want to call across the ocean. Yeah. But either way,
I thought I was getting some lovely telemarketing.
Yeah, from the American Midwest.
But it was you. But it was okay.
It was just me. It's just Heather. But well, I don't remember what I was going to say. I was just this has just been so exciting to actually get to talk to you, to connect with you, to help booksellers connect to you so they can help readers find your book, keep an eye out. There are so many wonderful books out there, and it's so fun to have ones that just really stand out like this to us. So huge congrats from our whole panel. This one was a real shoo-in. We really loved it. And I'll speak for myself, I really loved it. So everybody, please look for Sam's books as you are ordering them for, the fall catalogs, summer-fall catalog, I guess. And keep an eye out for the second one, because we need to know how it ends. And I know those things take time, so good things come to those
be
of us
continued.
Who wait. Yes. So excited. So yes. Yeah. Check out Arcana, The Lost Heirs by Fievel and Friends, imprint of Macmillan. And keep tabs on Sam. This is great work. So congrats.
Thank you so much. It's been such a joy to talk to you, and I'm so passionate about the renaissance that the graphic novels are having currently. And I think especially at the moment, for readers who maybe don't yet see themselves as a reader, graphic novels are such an easy way in to feeling like you are partaking in literature, and it's such an easy gateway. And I am so passionate about graphic novels, and I love them all so much. And thank you so much for shedding a light on this book. It means I actually can't believe that I've had such great luck with this. Is my first book. This is crazy. The fact that I'm getting to do all of this for my first book. You're joking. This is so cool. I feel very humbled by all of this, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you for putting this work in the world. This is the little baby that suddenly you get to share with everybody. So
it really is my little brood of children.
Well, big year for you, getting married, having a first book out. This is huge.
Crazy.
So literally, I keep saying it, but huge congrats. Thank you for doing this interview. And I hope we hear from you soon, because we will. I'm manifesting that now.
Don't worry. Things are on the horizon, babe. You just don't know it yet.
All right, Sam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The seagulls.
Thank you for listening to Booked, the bookstore education podcast brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Additional educational resources can always be found on the ABA site at www.bookweb.org. Happy reading!